There we go. Good morning, Bruno.
Hey Nick, how you doing?
Fine, thanks, new.
Good.
Good. Uh, Perfect. So, back with PLA, we've got two questions for today. The first one we're going to deal with is with regards to body corporate. So, I'm going to leave the question a bit more open-ended than what we've been asked, but basically, we've got a writer who's written in. They said they have a problem with regards to a utility charge on a particular body corporate. They believe that they're being overcharged in the circumstances, and they have basically placed complaints with the body corporate asking that they do an investigation into this overcharging of utilities. They're not getting any feedback from the body corporate in the circumstances. And so what they've asked us is, in circumstances where you are requiring body corporate to do something or having a particular issue with the body corporate and they're not giving you any feedback, what are your rights? What can you do in circumstances where you've got a body corporate who's not working with you?
So I think we all experience issues with body corporates, especially body corporates that don't take a lot of action. And it really depends on who the board of trustees are. Some trustees are more active than others. Some trustees make decisions fast and make sure to implement these decisions. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. And very often what we find with body corporates is decisions are made that aren't necessarily for the benefit of the body corporate and the units as a whole, but simply for trustees. So as an example of this, you'll find that even though levies should be increased in order to ensure that there are sufficient maintenance funds in place, these aren't increased simply because people complain about affording them, and as a result, the body corporate or the structure is going to disrepair. So unfortunately, what we have noticed in practice is a lot of body corporates do not have the foresight to be able to run the body corporate for long-term benefits and simply run it on a day-to-day basis, hoping to make the owners happy. And an issue that we experience in particular is supply of services to the units at the body corporate. Now, this particular question was regarding a gas supply to the individual units, and the owners complaining that the gas supply was higher than what was supposed to be, that the charges were way too high and that this needs to be investigated. But this happens very often with water supplies to the individual units, electricity supplies, any form of supply where somebody notices some kind of excess and some investigation is required. And this is also in labor force, people that work there, maybe the labor components and the costs of HR in a body corporate being questioned and an investigation being needed. Now, what do you do in a situation where an owner notices that there's obviously some issue, in this instance, a gas supply and potential overcharging? How does an owner now challenge the body corporate? Now, there's several ways. The most common, easiest way is to approach CSOS. CSOS does deal with this as an ombud. So in those situations, it is very accessible to the owner, and that's why it was designed in that way. It wanted to provide a forum to the owner that is accessible without the expense of having to approach a court. So CSOS is definitely one of the better ways, and I would suggest to everyone that your first port of call would be to lay a complaint with CSOS. Now, if that doesn't work, we start looking for practical examples of things that can be done. Now, one practical example that might even work more efficiently than CSOS is a collective of owners. And people often don't look at this because, I mean, in our society, sometimes we do take on challenges upon ourselves and try and sort out these problems, but the collective means a lot. And if a number of owners are experiencing the same thing, remember that the board of trustees are voted in by the owners. And unlike an example, like a government of a specific country, no names mentioned, if you want to vote the executive out or the people in charge out, it's a challenge. You have to wait for the 5 years. There has to be some vote of no confidence at some point, and it has to be passed, and there's appeals and screaming and a whole range of things that happen. It's not the same with body corporates. So being able to get a special meeting called, being able to challenge the current board and being able to get action from them is actually not that difficult. difficult, provided that you've got the support needed. And well, you've got the support needed. So the collective is important, and then you follow the rules. And the rules are there that allow people to call meetings, to do the necessary. And each body corporate has their rules. These rules are publicly accessible. So before you even think of approaching a court and trying to get some kind of order or interdict or whatever the case is, follow the rules. Follow the rules, get your friends, get together, call a meeting, do the challenge. And I can almost assure you that if your body corporate's already being run in a bad way, this is probably better than just going to CSOS and trying to sort out one problem. Because if you're actually able to deal with the Board of Trustees and their bad decision-making and planning, you're actually doing yourself a favor, and you're increasing value on your property, and you're ensuring you don't fall into arrears with any service providers, and. So definitely suggest that you take control of your body corporate as soon as possible.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Bruno.